Hi lovelies, you're welcome back to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, you're welcome back and I appreciate. So let's draft this beautiful funnel corset. So I've gone ahead to take my body measurement on my pattern paper. So go ahead and determine your own measurement. So from this point here, I mark as my shoulder line at the top. I came down to my bust line. Then from my shoulder line, I came down to my under bust line. From my shoulder line, I came down to my front waistline of 18 inches. Now from my front waistline, I came down by 5 inches to get the full length of this top. Then on my shoulder line here, I'll mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which gives me 8 inches. I'll mark 3 inches for the neck wideness and then 3 inches for the neck depth. So after doing that, I'll go ahead to connect the neck points together. Now from the 8 inches point I mark on my shoulder line, I'll come down by 1 inch to get the shoulder slope, and then I'll connect it to my neck wideness. Now I'll take my armhole circumference divided by 2 will give me 8.5 inches, which I just marked there. I'll connect it to the shoulder slope point and also connect it this way. So this line will be serving as my chest line. The next thing to do is to divide what I have on my armhole area by 2, and then from that point I will go in by half of an inch. Now I'm going to take my bust circumference divided by 4, which gives me 10 inches. I'll mark it on my chest line, and then I will go ahead to connect the front armhole like so. So after doing that, I'm going to divide my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 8 inches divided by 2 will give me 4 inches. From my bust line, I'm going to mark the 4 inches all the way to the full length line. After marking the points there, I'll go ahead to use my ruler and connect those points together. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to label my center front and my side front. Now on the full length line beside the dart, I'm going to take 1 inch on the center front line and the side front line. I'll repeat the same thing on my front waistline and also my under bust line. Now I'll go ahead now and connect those points together. Now from the dart leg below my bust line, I'll mark 1 inch and I'll go ahead to connect it this way. So after connecting it this way, I'm going to divide what I have left on my shoulder by 2. I'll mark the midpoint and I'll go ahead to connect it this way to the dart leg on my bust line. Now after connecting it, the next thing I'll do is to come up from here by 2.5 inches, 1.5 inches or 1 inch. It depends on how exposed you want your cleavage to be. Okay, so after marking the point, I'll go ahead to rule a straight line on that point, and then I will label this point my upper chest line. The next thing I will do is to mark 1 inch at the side front, 1 inch at the center front, okay, on the upper chest line area. Okay, now I will go ahead and connect it this way. Now I've already formed the cup that I need. The next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and connect this point from the upper chest line to the chest line like so. So to take the side front neckline shape, I'll go ahead to take the body measurement first. Now I'm going to mark my bust measurement divided by 4, which I already did on my chest line. I'll replace the dart intake of 2 inches. I'll mark my waist circumference divided by 4. I'll mark the point and then I will replace the dart intake of 2 inches. On the full length line, I'll mark my hip circumference divided by 4. I'll replace the dart intake of 2 inches as well. Now I'll go ahead and connect the body points together. So after doing this, below the bust line on the body measurement, I'll come down by 1.5 inches to get my side dart, and then I will connect it like so. Now I'm going to be closing this side dart. Okay, the next thing I will do is to open the shoulder dart this way. So this will help me to close the side dart very well. Now I will go ahead to cut through the bust line area this way, and then I will use my tape. I will close this up, use my tape to tape this down. So if you don't want your armhole to be exposed, connect it from the upper chest line to the chest line. But for this tutorial, I'm going to connect it from the upper chest line to the bust line. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to connect the armhole of the side um front. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my curve rule to actually do this way. Okay, so just watch what I'm doing, and then I will go ahead to reconnect it back this way. So this has formed the armhole for the side front. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is to come down from the bust line on the center front by ½ inch, and I will connect it to the armhole area like so. Now after doing this has formed the funnel shape. Okay, the next thing I will do is to add 1 inch seam allowance at the bust line, the waistline, and also the full length line. So I'll go ahead to connect the points like so. Now after connecting the points, I'll go ahead to come up from the full length line at the side. Remember, on the actual body measurement, I will come up by 1 inch, and then I will connect it this way just to give it a very nice curve. Okay, and then extend it to the same allowance. Now from the waistline on the actual body measurement, I will measure what I have there to this point here, that is the side front. Now I'm going to divide whatever I have there by 3. So after dividing, I'll mark the points there, and then I'll go ahead to rule a straight line on the point. Now if you're going to snatch this with 2 inches, you're only going to have one dot line at the side front. Okay, but mine, I'm snatching it with 4 inches. That's the reason why I have 2 lines there. Now on the waistline, on one of the that line, I'm going to mark 0.25 on each side, and I will go ahead and connect it this way. Okay, so this, if I do this both for the back and the front, for the two sides, I'm going to be snatching total of 4 inches. Like I said, if you want to snatch just 2 inches, make use of one dot line at the side front. Okay, now I'm going to be bringing a plain paper. Now this plain paper, I will make sure is going to reach from the upper chest line to the under bust line. That is where that white pattern paper will be. Okay, from the upper chest line to the under bust line. Now after I've placed it where I want it to be, I'll go ahead to pin this down in place and then cut it out. So I'm going to cut out the bustier first. So after cutting this out, I will unpin this and remove the white pattern paper to cut out the line that will form the funnel shape. So I will just cut this out like so. And then I'll go ahead to label my pattern 1, 2, 3, and 4. I will go ahead to also cut out the remaining dots. So after I'm done cutting this is all for the front part. I'll go ahead to start drafting the back pattern. So to draft out the back pattern, we don't need the zipper allowance. Now from this point here, I labeled my shoulder line. I came down to my bust line and then to my waistline. The under bust line is not necessary. Okay, so from my shoulder to my waistline at the back is 16.5 inches. Go ahead and make sure you used to know the difference from the front and the back. Okay, now from the back waistline, I came down by 5 inches to get the full length line. Now I will go ahead to take 8 inches for my shoulder measurement. After dividing by 2, I'll take 3 inches for the neck wideness and then 2 inches for the neck depth of the back. I'll go ahead to connect the points together like so. After doing this, on that 8 inches I have on my shoulder line, I will come down by 1 inch to get my shoulder slope. So I will connect it this way to the neck wideness. Now after connecting it, the next thing I will do is to take my armhole circumference divided by 2, which gives me 8.5 inches. I will mark the point this way, connecting to my shoulder slope point. Now after doing that, I'll go ahead and connect it this way also. Now this is from my chest line. The next thing I will do is to take my dart of 4 inches after dividing 8 inches by 2, which is my nipple to nipple measurement. I'll go ahead and connect the points together like so. Now the dart leg on the waistline, I'll take half inch on both sides. Then from the full length line on the dart leg, I will come up by 1.5 inches. Now I'll connect it like so. After doing that, on my chest line, I will take my bust circumference divided by 4. I will go ahead now and divide what I have on the armhole part by 2, and then I will connect the back armhole like so. Now the next thing I will do is to take my waist circumference divided by 4. I will go ahead and replace the dart intake of 1 inch as well. I'll mark the point there. On my full length line, I'm going to take my hip circumference divided by 4. There is no dart to be taken there, okay? I'll go ahead and connect the point like so. Now after doing that, the next thing I will do is to add 1 inch for the seam allowance. Now from the full length line on the actual body measurement, I'll come up by 1 inch, and then I'll connect it like so. Now from the armhole area above the chest line, I will come up by 2.5 inches, and then from the center back, I will come up from the chest line by 1 inch. Now I will go ahead to connect it together. So I'll just connect the point like so. So this has formed my back neckline. The next thing I will do is to bring the front piece, that is the side front piece, and then I will match it with the side part of the back piece. So I'm just going to use it to connect the at the same armhole. Okay, now after doing that, I will go in from here by 1.5 inches, and then for the waistline, I will go in by 2 inches. Then on the full length line, I will go in by 1.5 inches. Now the actual spacing for the lace at the back is 2 inches, but I'm doing it this way just to give it that curve at that area when I'm lacing it. Okay, so if you are going to be making use of straight pattern for this, it's totally fine as well. So this is my lacing bar. Now the next thing I will do is from this my actual body measurement on the waistline, I will measure it to this point, that is the dart side dart point. Okay, now after measuring it, what I have there, I will divide it by 3, and then after dividing it by 3, I'm going to mark the point there as well, just like I did for the front side front. Okay, I'll go ahead now and rule a straight line on that point that I divided by 3, and then I'll be marking 0.25 on each of the darts on the waistline. So after marking the point, I'll go ahead to connect it the same way I connected it at the front pattern. So after I was done connecting it, this is what I have. Now I'm going to label this my 1, 2, 3, and 4 patterns. I will just extend the actual dart to the neck depth. Now after doing that, I'll go ahead to cut this out. So after I was done cutting, this is what I have for the back pattern, and this is what I have for the front pattern. And this is all for the funnel corset. So at this point, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe, comment, share, and like. I will see you in my next video. But for now, bye and thanks for watching.